Thanks for staying with us here on Channels Television. A warm welcome to you wherever you're watching. This is the news at 5. I'm Ayo Tunde Balogun. These are the stories making the rounds at this time. We start off from the Federal High Court in Abuja, where Justice Emeka Nwite has sentenced 4 suspects to death by hanging for carrying out the deadly June 5, 2022 attack on St. Francis Catholic Church in Oyo, Ondo State, where over 40 worshippers were killed and over 100 suffered various degrees of injuries. These are 4 of the 5 defendants who have been standing trial on a 9-count terrorism charge filed by the DSS, that's the Department of State Services. They are Idris Abdul Malik Omeza, Al Qasim Idris, Jamiu Abdul Malik, and Abdul Halim Idris, while the 5th defendant, Momo Otuo Abubakar, was discharged and acquitted. Now, in his verdict, Justice Nwite convicted the 4 defendants on all 9 counts of committing acts of terrorism in breach of the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act, citing crimes including membership of a prescribed terrorist group, Al-Shabaab, conspiracy to commit terrorist act, and kidnapping, hostage-taking, and for killing the over 40 worshippers. Justice Nwite held that the prosecution had proved its case against the convicts beyond reasonable doubt. The judge, however, held that the prosecution failed to prove its case against the 5th defendant. Meanwhile, Ondo State Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has welcomed the conviction and death sentence handed down to 4 men found guilty of the June 5, 2022 attack on St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo. The governor praised the judiciary and security agencies for their roles in securing the verdict, describing the judgment as a significant step toward justice for the victims and families affected by the deadly attack. Governor Aiyedatiwa noted that the outcome reflects the commitment of law enforcement agencies, investigators, and prosecutors to ensuring accountability for acts of terrorism and violent crimes. He also commended the resilience of the Owo community and the Catholic faithful, who have continued to pursue peace and healing despite the tragedy. The governor reaffirmed his administration's commitment to strengthening security across the state through improved intelligence gathering, closer collaboration with security agencies, and enhanced protection of public spaces. The family of Mr. Adebayo Adelabu, a former Minister of Power and a prominent chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, has confirmed the abduction of his younger sister, Mrs. Olaide Busayo Adegoke John Paul, alongside her 12-year-old twin sons, by suspected armed men in Ibadan. According to a statement released by the media aide to Mr. Adelabu, Mr. Femi Awogboro, the incident occurred around 7:30 a.m. while Mrs. John Paul was on her way to drop her children, Peter and Paul, off at school. The abduction reportedly took place on June the 3rd in the city of Ibadan in Oyo State and was immediately reported to the relevant security and law enforcement agencies for urgent intervention. Mrs. John Paul, aged 43, is the youngest of 5 children of Mrs. Olufumilayo Aduke Adegoke Adelabu. The family condemned the incident as a cruel and disturbing act, while expressing confidence that security agencies will act swiftly to secure the safe return of the victims. They also appealed for public calm, urging citizens to avoid spreading unverified information that could disrupt ongoing rescue efforts, and encouraged anyone with credible intelligence to report it to the appropriate authorities. The people of Edaodio, Ekiti, the headquarters of Ileje local government area in Ekiti State, have protested the failure to rescue those kidnapped in the area since April the 28th, describing the experience as highly worrisome. Residents there trooped out to the streets to express their pain and displeasure, stressing that life has not been the same since the incident occurred.
There are no smiles to be found in Edaodio, Ekiti, the headquarters of Ileje local government area in the state. This follows the abduction of their loved ones before kidnapping several residents.
We all gather here to let the federal, state governments know our feelings about our people that were kidnapped, abducted 36 days ago by bandits. Edo incident happened almost 15 days after the Oyo incident. We are hearing what federal government is doing about Oyo incident. We are hearing the steps being taken by Oyo state government. Up to today, we are in the dark. We don't know anything.
We are here to plead on behalf of the village. Edo is one of the local governments in Ekiti State, in the Ileje local government. People have been kidnapped since 36 days ago. And the government is not doing anything about it. We have aged 2 years, 3 years, and we have an elderly up to the age of 83 years of age. And they have been in the kidnapper den since 36 days ago. And the government is not doing anything.
Yabo Kieme, the member representing Ileje constituency at the Ekiti State House of Assembly, has offered assurances that all hands are on deck to ensure their rescue.
When that incident occurred, the state government raised up the security apparatus to visit Edo. The special advisor on security, Brigadier General Ogundano, retired, in the company of the Commissioner of Police and all other high-end security personnel visited the place. They investigated the scene of crime and everything. Then again, the deputy governor came. Then after the governor himself visited the place, I want to assure the members of the public that all hands are on deck. All efforts are being taken to ensure the safe return of our people.
As time passes, the community's patience is worn thin. They've taken to the streets in protest, demanding urgent action.
I'm here on behalf of my people, pleading to the government to please intervene into this issue. Our people have been kidnapped for over 36 days now. We have pleaded to the government. We have paid ransom that we can only contribute to within among ourselves, 10.5 million naira. But they said they want to speak with the government.
As the community grapples with this ordeal, their message is clear: an immediate and decisive action to end this long-standing nightmare.
In Borno State, the Nigeria Union of Teachers has staged a peaceful protest for the release of the abducted pupils, students and teachers of primary and junior day secondary school Musa in Askira Oba local government area. Now, the National Publicity Secretary of the Union, Yusuf Ibn Tom, who led the protesters to Government House Maiduguri, asked both the state and federal government to speed up the release of the abductees. He also called on the government to provide a conducive learning environment across the schools in the state. He says, quote, "Today we are here at Government House in Borno State to issue our letter appealing to the government of the day to do her best to rescue our learners and so also to create a safe environment where teaching and learning will continue to prosper in our communities. We are also appealing to the government of the day to also do away with the fear in the minds of teachers and parents to teach in a dignified condition." Now, the Chief of Staff to Governor Babagana Zulum, Mustafa Malumbe, who received the protesters, assured them of the government's readiness to continue providing security not only to schools, but to all sectors. Now, remember, 42 pupils, students and teachers from the primary and junior day secondary school Musa were abducted on May the 15th this year while receiving lessons. And Governor Zulum had earlier visited the local government to commiserate with the affected families, assuring them of security and safe return of the abductees. In Edo State, the State Police Command says it made a significant breakthrough in the investigation of the abduction of 3 women in Ovia Northeast local government area with the arrest of a suspected member of a kidnapping syndicate. The Police Public Relations Officer of the Command, Eno Ikwedem, explained that the suspect's arrest followed sustained intelligence-driven operations leading to the recovery of the body of one of the victims, a 66-year-old Favor Nosakari, in a forest hideout. She said efforts are ongoing to track down other members of the gang, noting that the command has intensified operations against kidnapping and other violent crimes.
Upon commencing investigation, we had a success on the 19th of May, where the operatives of the command laid ambush in the forest, and about four of the kidnappers were sighted, and they engaged in a gun duel where we successfully opened fire on them, and some of them escaped with gunshot injury. And ever since then, we have been on their trail, and subsequently, we had another breakthrough, a major breakthrough, where we have the kidnapped suspects in custody, a 24-year-old Haruna, who is in our custody right now and has confessed to these crimes. He has confessed to being part of the kidnapping syndicate, whom have been terrorizing Benin-Lagos Express and Benin-Akure Expressway. He has also led us to this point where we are about to recover the remains of some of the victims whom they held in captivity, even after collecting ransom payment. Effort is on top gear, and we are confident that in less than no time, the Violent Crime Response Unit will round up the rest of these kidnapping syndicates.
To the National Assembly now, where the Senate has ramped up calls for urgent action by the federal government and security agencies to secure the release of victims still being held captive following the recent abduction of students, pupils and teachers from schools in Oyo State. The resolution followed the adoption of a motion sponsored by Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari, who drew the attention of the Red Chamber to the attack in which 46 persons, including school children and teachers, were abducted. However, lawmakers declined the proposal seeking an audit of military spending despite growing concerns over persistent insecurity, banditry, kidnapping and insurgency across the country. The proposal was put forward by Senator Adams Oshiomhole during consideration of the motion. He argued that the National Assembly had a responsibility to review the effectiveness of previous resolutions and scrutinize the utilization of resources allocated to the armed forces. He maintained that a comprehensive security and spending audit was necessary to determine whether funds appropriated for defense and security had been effectively utilized. However, the proposal failed to gain traction on the floor as it was not seconded by any senator. The Coroner's Court sitting at the JIC Taylor Courthouse in Ibushere, Lagos Island, has adjourned further proceedings in the inquest into the death of the 21-month-old Marston Kanu Adichie Sege, son of novelist Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie and Dr. Ivara Isege. Now, the adjournment followed the court's decision to suspend hearing until October the 8th this year, after counsel informed the court of an existing order from the Lagos State High Court, staying the proceedings pending a judicial review. At today's sitting, the court was set to begin hearing, but was told that one of the respondents, Eurocare Multi-Specialist Hospital, had challenged the jurisdiction of the Coroner's Court, arguing that the inquest should not proceed, particularly since the child's remains had already been cremated. A counsel further informed the court that the High Court had granted leave for judicial review and issued a consequential order staying the proceedings until the substantive matter is determined. While some counsel argued that the stay order must be obeyed, others insisted that the inquest should proceed, noting that witness statements had already been filed and served by the deceased family's legal team. After listening to all parties, Magistrate Atinuke Aditunji then adjourned the matter to October the 8th this year, pending the outcome of the judicial review. Welcome back after the break. High prep at 10. International advocates commend the Ogoni cleanup so far in River State. Join us again. Welcome back to the news at 5. As the hydrocarbon pollution remediation project High Prep marks its 10th anniversary, members of the International Working Group on Petroleum Pollution and Just Energy Transition have commended the progress recorded in the Ogoni cleanup program, while calling for the extension of similar remediation efforts to other polluted communities across the Niger Delta region. The commendation followed an inspection tour of major High-Prep projects and facilities in Ogoni land conducted as part of activities for the anniversary. Our correspondent, Deborah Mie Fiberesima, reports.
Making event in the history of Nigeria.
10 years ago, on June 2, 2016, the federal government launched the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, HYPREP, to implement the recommendations of the United Nations Environment Programme report on Ogoni land and address decades of environmental degradation caused by oil pollution. Today, the project has evolved into one of Africa's most ambitious environmental restoration programs, drawing attention from environmental experts, civil society organizations, and development partners across the world. As part of activities marking HYPREP's 10th anniversary, members of the International Working Group on Petroleum Pollution and Just Energy Transition embarked on an assessment tour of key HYPREP projects and facilities across Ogoni land. The delegation comprised environmental rights advocates, academics, and civil society leaders from Nigeria and abroad. The team was received by HYPREP officials led by the head of environmental remediation, Raphael Friday, who represented the project coordinator, Professor Nene Barini Izabe. Their first stop was the reticulated potable water facility at Wogo in Tai local government area. From Tai, the delegation proceeds to the mangrove restoration project at Bomu in Gokana local government area. The delegation also visits the Ogoni Center of Excellence for Environmental Restoration, the Ogoni Power Project, at Wiakara in Kana local government area, amongst other sites.
It's good to see that this is happening. Ogoni is not only a very important part of the Delta, but a very important part of the struggle for environmental justice.
Inspiring to see the commitment to the remediation in the area. Of course, we know that this is a very extensive work that will require commitment by government, by the international community, and particularly by the international oil companies to financing this over various decades to ensure that polluted areas in Ogoni, elsewhere in rivers, Delta, Bayelsa, Akwa Ibom, Ondo, various parts of the Delta are properly cleaned up after the devastation that...
For HYPREP, the visit underscores the growing international confidence in the project and its achievements over the last decade.
Raising the standards of living of the people, power is an essential component of what they will need in everyday life. So sustainability, we have sustainability plans for everything we are doing.
As HYPREP marks 10 years of implementing the Ogoni cleanup program, stakeholders say the gains already recorded should be sustained while efforts are expanded to address environmental challenges in other parts of the Niger Delta. Deborah Miye Fiberesima, Channels Television News.
The crossover state government has unveiled the theme for the 2026 edition of Africa's biggest street party, the Calabar Carnival. Now, the unveiling ceremony held in Lagos marked the official commencement of activities for the highly anticipated cultural festival. As preparations begin, expectations are high for another vibrant edition of the Calabar Carnival.
Carnival Calabar, dubbed Africa's biggest street party, is once again taking center stage as stakeholders gather for the unveiling of the theme for 2026. For over 2 decades, the carnival has attracted visitors from across Nigeria and beyond, showcasing the culture and hospitality of Cross River State. Beyond the celebration, the influx of visitors creates opportunities for businesses, artisans and vendors, while also boosting the state's internally generated revenue through taxes, hospitality services, business transactions and increased investment during the carnival season.
From September, October, November, December, we see the informal sector increases, the revenue from the informal sector. You see the market women, the people selling foods on the road. These classes of people are people that live hand to mouth, like I might say. But you see that their sales will increase, people selling food, people buying rice, all kinds of food. Even you go to the main road, the market, you see that a lot of them, the sales increases during this period. And that's the impact tourism, this particular carnival, and have on the life of Cross-Rivers.
We have decided to gamify all the products and articles Carnival Calabar. We have decided to create, through our technical partners, Nogi Entertainment, based out of London, all the idea of government to introduce online voting to see how the community get more involved, not just watch. And carnival remains one of the only products that you must travel to its destination if you must get an exposure. So the beginning of this new thinking is that we want to change the way we think.
For the Deputy Governor of the state, Peter Ode, Carnival Calabar is more than a festival, as it represents a platform for unity, cultural preservation and economic development.
Lagos is the commercial capital of Nigeria, and so we want to bring investors to know what we do with Carnival Calabar. And we believe that by doing it here, we are going to attract the right people that will come and invest in Carnival Calabar.
Governor Basio too officially unveils the theme, Rethinking Our Collective Destiny. This reaffirms his administration's commitment to strengthen the tourism sector as a key driver of economic growth.
In order to have a robust outing in this year's Carnival Calabar Festival, we are galvanizing the efforts of cross-variants diaspora in terms of participation, propagation of the Carnival brand abroad, as well as securing material support, a framework for the streaming of the Carnival, the monetization of its contents have also been worked on.
As preparations begin in earnest, expectations are high that the 2026 Carnival Calabar will once again deliver a blend of culture, entertainment and economic opportunities while reinforcing its reputation as Africa's biggest street party.
Is central. The wisdom keeper says to the people.
Welcome to Business News. Nigeria's gross foreign exchange reserves rose by about $1.22 billion last month, ending May higher at $49.58 billion. According to latest reports by the central bank, the increase in the country's external buffer represents a 2.5% month-on-month jump from the $48.36 billion level which it stood at the end of April. Financial market analysts and forex traders attribute the increase in the country's dollar reserves to stronger foreign currency inflows, improved investor confidence, and the impact of ongoing foreign exchange market reforms carried out by the central bank. The upward trajectory in the reserves level last month further strengthens Nigeria's ability to meet external obligations and support exchange rate stability. And to the domestic debt market, where the Debt Management Office has opened the June edition of its monthly federal government savings bond offer for investors. In a circular posted on its website, the DMO says the offering involves a 2-year FGN savings bond with 13.77% annual interest due on June the 10th this year, as well as a 3-year bond offering a higher return of 14.77% annually, which will be due on June the 10th, 2029. The latest monthly savings bond offer rates, which indicate continuing a gradual upward trend, represent a 25 basis point increase on the 3-year tenor and a 25 basis point increase on the 2-year tenor when compared to the bond offer in the month of May. And that's news at 5 at this time. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayo Tunde Balogun. The World Today is up next.